Trade this, everybody. Thought I was going to have to do this without Steve, but here he is.
How's that for timing?
Perfect. Right on the dot.
Now,
I'm outside in the grounds of Castle Von Wiley.
And I'm here still in the formerly known
place
as
you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, the place I'm not allowed to leave. The house formerly known as the Blue House.
Yes. For those who don't know, me and Steve are getting brutalized at work, so this is actually just a break for us before it's back to the gridiron. So we got Reese is here with us, Chuck, and Minnie Warmutt. And Minnie Warmutt, you will entertain us. So part of today's show is going to be showing how you can trade up your forces, which to me is one of the most fun parts, is taking something from a movie or a game or a comic book and then making it fit in the game, and playing without traits is like making a pizza without any ingredients, and you're just putting plain dough in the oven. So
not even cheese on it.
Not even cheese and whatnot. So before we do that, though, got a little bit of some housekeeping. Battles and Brews is coming up at the end of July, and that is a nice little intimate gaming convention at our local brewery. They have a nice event place downstairs, and if you can attend, we've also got mugs, we got T-shirts, we've got raffle with prizes like we did for March to Victory and for our last gaming event, May the 4th event. And we're going to have, as part of the raffle, we're going to have, I'm going to print up a bunch of BattleTech mechs, paint them in some terrain, and those are going to be part of the prizes for Battles and Brew, since the game I'm going to be running, of course, will be Battlesuit Alpha, but there's going to be all kinds of different games there. They're not just Wiley games. We've got different people playing different things. Got a couple out-of-town people who are offering to put on games, and right now we have the Vanguard tickets on sale, and those are all available through marchtovictory.net. You'll just go and click on the Battles and Brews tab, and that'll take you there. You want one of our cool shirts, one of our mugs. Like last time, we gave away lots of stuff with the raffle tickets, and this is all a fundraiser for March to Victory 2023 to basically pay for the convention before it even starts. So, and we had 110 last year, and that was our very first out of the gate. So I think we're going to have way more this year too. So also, if you're watching, don't forget, if you use the WileyGames.com promo code BSing all caps, you get 10% off your order. So I also wanted to go over, we did our yearly survey for Wiley Games this year that the Baroness put out for us. And it's always a nice learning experience to find out, our customers and our people that follow us. And we had 250 people responded, which is pretty good, out of 1,200, something like that, I think, on the mailing list. But the first question was, how did you hear about us? And 30% of that, the highest responders were heard about it on a forum like, the miniatures page, Lead Adventure Forum. Right behind that was saw us on YouTube. And then it was, social media posts, War Games Vault, other stuff. But other people wrote in. They did a web search, a wargaming news site, which we occasionally put stuff on. Somebody just Googled Western Miniatures game, Board Game Geek, which I don't know how because they won't let me put our link on there. So
How many did a search for clown porn?
it ended up with us.
Yeah.
Probably. Then we asked, did you know we had a Facebook page? That was good because 75% or 70% knew that we had one. And did we have and that we had a YouTube channel? Again, 2 out of 3 people knew. Did you know that Wiley Games has an Instagram? #Wiley Games. And that one was surprising because it went the other way. And 75% of respondents did not know that we have an Instagram, which you should, because we post all of our sales and what's coming out next and all that stuff is all on Instagram. So if you don't Insta us, you should. Did you know we have a scenario library? That was about 50-50. We've got 25 titles that are just pulled out scenarios that you can do one-off that are just a single scenario. We've now started doing the From Our Table to Yours, which is games that we have actually played on YouTube that we provide the scenario and the cards for them. So that's pretty sweet. You don't even have to make your own stuff. But on top of that, every one of our rule books has 5 to 10 scenarios in it. And those are all scenarios that you don't have to play them for Wasteland Warriors or for Galactic Heroes. They can easily be switched. Our Galactic Heroes campaign has been used for samurais. People have done it. You could use Tales of Horror campaign for something. It could be switched to Cthulhu or just a pulp one, or whatever your imagination can come up with. So we've got, I think, close to 100 scenarios spread across all of our different books and stuff. So question 6 was, did you know we have typable unit sheets available for free on our website? So Baroness worked very hard to make some unit sheets that you can just pull down and they fill. You can drop in pictures of your guys. Only 2/3 of the people knew we had those. So hopefully now people now know. Did you know that being subscribed gives you first access to sales, and new product, and everything out? Again, about 2/3 of the people knew. Here's a good one. Did you know that Wiley Games has more complete library than War Games Vault? So we don't put everything on War Games Vault. 2/3 of the people did not know that. So if you're watching and you are buying all our stuff from War Games Vault, you are missing out. And also you don't hear about any of our sales or anything like that. So what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I'm just having a beer right now.
Bourbon and ginger ale. A little bit of lime.
Danke.
So,
shameless plug.
Did you know the Fistful of Lead titles can be mixed and matched? Most people knew that, a good 85%.
Thank God by now.
Did you know that it could be scaled up to large for battle? Most people knew that. That was good. Did you know that most of the traits are universal? That was weird because it was about 50-50. So, yeah, you can. We've talked about this over and over. You can mix and match from different books. I would say Galactic Heroes is probably the new 2nd edition is probably the most complete. It has probably almost all of them.
Yeah.
but that doesn't include things like mutations in Wasteland Warriors, that kind of stuff. We asked, I use Fistful of Lead primarily for, and about 50% of the people use it for a quick, easy game. I was surprised convention play was so low, 6%. Group games is 20%. When I want to invent something totally new, I have a toolbox, 7%. Sad. When I'm bored because a narrative story keeps me interested, only 3%. And when I get issue for a new genre because Fistful of Lead has familiar and reliable, was only 8%. So then we did you know we have multiple titles? There's still almost 20% of the people out there don't know that we have multiple titles.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And then most useful, we asked which title you find most useful. It was a little bit scooch ahead, the Galactic Heroes, followed by the core rule book, and then Western, and everything else is kind of thing in there. We got how affordable. Way in ahead was really affordable. But we asked an open-ended question that was, what do you like most about the system? And we got lots of good answers. That's modular. I don't need to learn an entirely new system when I play Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or Second World War. Flexible and easy. Don't get in the way of telling the story. Gameplay is simple. It works well with large groups and easy to use. And it's great for beginners. Battles are cinematic, which is what we went for. Fistful of Lead system provides an accessible across-the-board rule system that provides fast and easy to use system, cover all the genres and sizes of the games from a handful of miniatures, full-on warfare. So, the perfect example would be our May the 4th super games where we were playing 3 different scaled games, all at once. And basically you could just transition from one to the other simply, because once you taught the top person one thing, then you could teach them how to play one game, then they could easily transition into the other one. So lots of good info came out of our survey. Only a couple of people bothered to write anything negative. But so you guys that are watching, Reese, Warmut, Charles, if there are some characters you want me and Steve to do live, now's your chance. Steve,
I got a list.
Steve's got a list. I have not seen this list. I have a list for him. Ooh. He has not seen my list either.
Now, here's my question. So we're going to some of these will be easy and some of these will be hard. Are we gonna base everything off of Galactic Heroes 2? And if they need to,
we base it off or whatever, but okay. Galactic Heroes 2 does have the most complete list of.
Okay. Well, I'll read one off to you to go first. You want an easy one?
Oh, I don't care. What I've got for quick reference, because even I don't remember them all. I got my Galactic Heroes 2 second edition. I've also got Wasteland Warriors in case we go, we get into some super stuff or some crazy stuff. And then I got my trusty pad because I'm going to write some of the stuff.
I got all my stuff. I can't even know where the hell.
Oh, man. I didn't think about fantasy because we could grab
it. I've got one for that one.
So, because we could throw in the magic stuff too. So,
and we will, because there's a good one. So, you may go first. Okay. So, some of these are easy and some of these are difficult, but I thought I would.
Well, you give me, and it could be a group too.
Okay.
And then you give them to me and I'll give them to you.
This is a good group. So, this grouping is based off of one of your favorite characters of all time, and that's Space Ghost.
Okay, so this one could be interesting because we could give him traits, or we could give him equipment to do what he wants. So, for instance, Space Ghost is he's a strong dude, and he has flight, and he has his blasters, and he can go invisible. But I think it's all from like his equipment, right?
It is.
Versus,
I don't believe. I think his flight. I think his flight is part of his equipment. So you could actually. So let's say you do Space Ghost, Jan,
yes.
Jan. Is it
Blip.
Jace and the monkey?
Okay.
Blip. Is it Blip?
I think so.
Okay. So let's say it's a crew of 4 at this point. So they all turn invisible, correct? Or they all
yes. Is it invisible or non-corporal? I think it's just invisible.
Okay. So you could make the team trait be flight. You could make the team trait be flight. Or you could make the team trait be invisibility.
Well, see, I think that if you're using Galactic Heroes, because you get a certain number of gear to work with, I think that their gear should be jetpacks. Even though they're not wearing jetpacks, they could still flight because of their flight belts.
So
I would almost make those part of their gear. It takes 2 equipment slots to do that, but
jetpack is 2, yes.
Yeah, so that would give them that would take up the 2 of the slots that they have. But if we make a crew trait that they're heroes all, then they all get specialist. However, I would break the code, because I think Space Ghost has to be a leader so that he could have the leader trait, and I would make the flight pack part of their equipment, and that would still leave them another. I would still leave them another slot left, and we could give them the invisibility. We give them the invisibility, like basically the spell from fantasy, right, which is no big deal. So they each get one of those. And then I think Space Ghost, he gets the leader, of course.
Right. And if you guys don't have Galactic Heroes 2.0, get it, because there's things like what Jay's talking about, equipment you get as a leader. The leader gets 5 equipment slots. So let's say you've used up what you've got, and you've got extra equipment slots that you're not using. You can take 2 equipment slots and slide it over and use it as a trait, so you can get an extra trait. So your leader that normally would have 3 traits now can have 4 traits.
Yeah. So I think Space Ghost, as part of his traits, he has to have encouraging, because that is you can remove shock markers from one member of your crew within 12 inches, because he's just that kind of guy.
Yes.
And I think he needs to be able to bash people. So I think he should be a brawler.
Mm-hmm.
And I say we give him leader. And
would he be considered a veteran?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that would be the last one. So veteran, and then he can use his equipment slots to get the invisibility and the flight and then the invisibility and the jetpacks, and that goes across all three of them. Jay seems, he's
but hold on. Space Ghost would need a blaster though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Blaster to be part of his equipment.
Okay.
He's still got enough equipment slots to have the flight, the invisibility, and the blaster. And then Jan, I think she's a smarty, so she needs to be cunning. And then Jace needs
I would cheat a little bit, and it's not cheating. I would actually give both the kids a negative trait, because if you follow it as the show, usually they always get in trouble or caught up in whatever the narrative is.
And you give them something like they're unskilled, so that they have a minus on their close combat rolls.
Right.
And
the whole point is like, in what we wanted to talk about tonight is like, we want to build them like they are in the show. If you're familiar with Space Ghost, you build them like how they are in the show, because as Jay's written these rules, you want it to be as cinematic as possible.
Yeah. So I think Jace, I think maybe he should be either slippery, where he get out of close combat, or make him like lightning fast, something like that, to help him dodge out of the way. Blip, I definitely give animal
and small,
and then for his special ability, well, he should be the one that's slippery, because he can get out of little things.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah. And if you need something with for Jan, I would give her, what was I looking at that I would give her?
See, I think she should be cunning, because she was the one that was always like, fixing the computer,
cunning, smart. There's also a skill that you can have as gadgeteer, and then you get free gear. But yeah, she was the one that was out of the crew. Well, out of, not counting Space Ghost, that was smart and would tend to figure stuff out.
Okay. Cool. Well, I will. But if you're actually, all these ones that we come up with, I'll actually put in the codex. So
awesome.
We're keeping on the Facebook page.
Now, if you're saying, well, you guys, that's only 4 characters for my crew, you can make a 4th character that could be whatever your scenario is. If it's a crash spaceship and there's a pilot, that pilot now is part of Space Ghost crew.
Well, but if we make them heroes that makes them all specialists, so they each get 2 abilities. So that would work as a crew trait. So one from the Peanut Gallery, we got Minnie Warmut asking for Lex Luthor.
Oh well. Immediately he's a brainiac.
Yeah, so he'd have to be cunning. And if he's running the Legion of Doom, he's got to have the leader in there.
So I would say it depends on what Lex Luthor you want to do.
If it's Lex Luthor in the armor, or the Lex Luthor all by himself,
or Lex Luthor Gene Hackman because one Lex Luthor you could make fearless. The Gene Hackman Lex Luthor from the movies, I wouldn't give him fearless.
Yeah. It's all your version of it, because then there's also the Lex Luthor from the comic that's in the armor and all that. So you almost give him a dual card for him. So one where he's like one and one that he hasn't. So
and then deal if you give him a dual card where he's in his super suit, where he's got heavy armor, he's impervious and stuff like that. Make it say, well, how do I get him in, switch from suit to make it however you want for your scenario, that he has to take 2 actions to put the suit on.
Yeah. And then he's one that I would definitely give like 9 lives because he's always getting out of it.
Absolutely.
So, but he's one that I don't necessarily I'd give the veteran skill to because, you know, he's not a get up there and fight unless he's wearing the suit. You know, he's a behind the scenes kind of guy. And you know, if you had on his team, if you added his sidekick Mercy, well, then you can make her like a killing machine. She got to have like all the weapon skills and all the shooting skills. I would give Lex Luthor possibly sharp tongue, which is you can hurl insults. You know, and he, you
I
know, with
love
his
that
fighting
stuff.
commentary, so he would get force an enemy to re-roll a close combat roll on their attack, and maybe even give him lucky so he could re-roll stuff. So I'm gonna write down some of the ones that other people are writing because we got Reese asked us to do Custer, and they're having like whole discussion here. Heavy trigger, unlucky. You know, what's the one that makes you charge at close range? That would be bloodthirsty.
It is.
Yep.
Charles mentions, he said, anyone mentioned the Fantastic Four? We haven't, but that is very easy to do.
Yeah, especially with the Wasteland Warriors book. So we'll do Custer here real quick. I think, you know, I mean, so if you were gonna make like his immediate crew, so you could have him and then have you know, his second in command, I forget what his name was. And like 3 troopers with him, that would be easy enough to do. I wouldn't make Custer a veteran just because I don't think, even though yes, he is a veteran of many wars, but he's not D12 veteran. You could give him 2 gun to just represent his pow 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 kind of a thing. And I don't know about giving him any of the negative traits because none of them really fit him. You know, if you wanted to give him loyal so he wouldn't leave the field as long as his men were on there, you could give him, let's see here, steady, you know, because he ignores shock and wound penalties when shooting. So especially good if you're gonna, do a little bighorn kind of thing. It's another one of those things where you could break it down for what sort of period you're in. So what part of his career are we talking about? If it's Custer in Civil War, I think he's different than Custer at Little Bighorn. So I think it's definitely how you'd want to break it down. Yes, we are at Castle Von Wiley's Spacious Yards wardrobe.
Hey, not Jay. I've got another one.
Well, let's talk Fantastic Four.
Okay, it was a Marvel character. So we're
you were going to give me?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that one first.
Okay, I was going to give you one that just came out, and that was Doctor Strange.
Oh well, yeah. For that, we would be heavily relying on the fantasy book, and for that, I would almost, and rather than make him be stuck to a specific path of magic, I would almost pull individual spells from each one that you've seen from the movies. But he would definitely have to have we call it jetpack, but it's basically the flight power from his cape, and that's equipment versus what he is actually part of the magic. And then I would say that the Eye of Agamemnon, I don't know, what is it? Eye of his ability to change time would definitely be like the lucky trait because he could re-roll something because he had foreseen it or maybe turned it back just a second long enough to do it. So I would make those like equipment versus an actual skill. Then we give him magic or spell casting ability from magic and mages, and then
you could give him.
He would be a veteran magic user. So
yeah, you could give him 6th Sense too, because then that way that's that reversing
exactly.
time to force his enemy to re-roll.
But I think the spells you could probably just pick and choose based on what's in there, or take them from like I don't know the dark path because this stuff's kind of like it's kind of bad.
You can, yeah. And then what you do is you can give him the dark path stuff, and then for his apprentice, you create Wong.
Yeah.
And then give him a different path, and then give Wong a different path.
Yeah, and then you could add like 3 of the novices, and just make them novice magic users.
Right.
Or you make them like kung fu masters, basically, by giving them like master of melee and stuff like that. But and then Wormit wants to know which Doctor Strange, which universe.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Now we're gonna go with classic Doctor Strange from the comic books.
Ditko. Is that Dit? No, it's not Ditko. It's oh hell.
Well, Ditko did.
Yeah, Steve Ditko.
Yeah, Steve Ditko. They did all the whack ass backgrounds and stuff. But if we're gonna do Fantastic Four, then it's time to get out Wasteland Warriors. In which case, Doctor Strange, or not Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic would definitely get
smart.
Well, I'm just right now. Let's do the superpowers here. We've got you could give him serpentine body to reflect his ability to like stretch around and all that kind of stuff. And then like lightning reflexes. You could give him basically the whip ability, like from one of the from Galactic Heroes. Basically, give him a whip, even though it's not. It's a weapon,
right?
Or
whatever. Right. It's listed as a mutation, but you could give him genius.
Yes. Extended reach. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the Thing. And then his actual abilities. This is one where I would make everyone have at least 3 like straight up traits, and in that case you can make him like cunning. But yeah, I like the genius idea. And then for like Sue Storm, she would definitely be she would definitely have the force field. You could give her reflective, make her reflective, give her, and then she, telekinesis.
There's what's the one where in is it Entangled? I'm still thinking about like the thing is with Doctor Strange or not Doctor Strange, Reed Richards.
Fantastic. Give him tentacles.
Yeah, you can give him tentacles and just they're tentacles, but if you want to write it on his card as something different, you can. You know, you could go as crazy as what's the one that he can fight multiple opponents in hand to
Street
hand
Fighter
combat. Yeah, Street Fighter.
or Two
Just because
Fisted.
it's stretching, slippery. I mean the
Two
thing
Fisted.
he's all over the place that you could do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then give the Thing, of course, large. Iron Hide, which gives you the same thing as Tough as Nails and invulnerable traits. Armor.
Right. I'd give him heavy armor.
Yeah, heavy armor. Give Human Torch flight. Give him let's see here. Damaging aura, because you can't get close to it without getting cooking. And then give him basically the blast.
And the thing is if you're like, well, you guys are giving them, that's way too many traits to give them. You only have 3 traits.
Well, you take the equipment slots and if you take out 2 equipment slots and you get another a trait. So
and you can also skew it a little bit. So it's like, okay, the Thing, you give him a negative trait of slow.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Give Sue Storm, she's not like really a hand-to-hand fighter, so you could give her the negative trait
weakling.
Yeah.
Or something unskilled.
Like that. Yep. Unskilled.
Give her drunkard.
Yeah. And then so I got one for you, Steve.
All right.
Johnny Quest crew, because I know you're painting them.
Oh, you. Let me see something. Let me see if I might actually have the card.
I think you already may have even started it already.
Let me see. I know I've got some of them because I have been, when I can get 5 seconds to work on something.
Oh, and by the way, Charles, I am working on a superhero set of rules that will kind of explain this better, but for now it's basically to give you an idea. You'll build the characters based on every character gets like an alpha power, one that's like really kick ass, and then there'll be kind of some 2 of the next tier down, and then 3 of like a lower tier. So, and then all superheroes will basically have the godlike ability that they have to lose every wound before they go out. So it'll be harder to just knock them out with one. So,
so I didn't. I have Dr. Quest done, Race Bannon done, Haji done. I don't have Johnny Quest done.
Okay, well, tell us what you did.
So for Haji, if you're familiar with, again, we're pulling old cartoons out of our rear end here, but you're going to see this played because I'm almost done painting the Johnny Quest figures. So with Haji, he is a regular, but in the show, he does his little magic stuff.
Yep.
So I looked at it as a group, and I've got Dr. Quest and Race Bannon, who are the adults, and I've got 2 kids who are in trouble, and then they've got that mangy mutt bandit. So it's like, I got to give Haji and Johnny a little bit of something, but not make it superpowers. So I went to the fantasy book, and I gave Haji spells. So he has, and I've renamed some of the spells. One of his spells is Sim Sim Salabim. and that he can levitate 6 inches in the air, and he must land on the ground before casting another spell. Another spell I gave him straight out of the fantasy book was a dancing sword. So it's a magic sword that he can manipulate and go into hand to hand. Hold on, my dog's beating on the damn door.
That's all right. Mine just came out, and if we're lucky, she'll walk right behind me and poop.
And they're beating on the door. And then for his third spell, I gave him hypnotize. So that's in the and then the only trait I gave him was that he's lightning fast. So
yep.
And he's got a sword. So that's Haji. Like Dr. Quest, he's the leader. Their figures carry submachine guns, which is great.
Well, that would be under equipment.
Yes. So Dr. Quest, his skills are encouraging, genius. He's a medic and a leader. So those are the skills that I gave Dr. Quest. And then race, I balanced that all out. My race is just the hand-to-hand combat. Yeah.
So what did you give him?
Brawler. Right now these aren't done. Right now he's got Brawler and Determined.
Well, you could also make him like some sort of like Deadeye and two with his shooting.
Yeah.
And then Bandit, of course, is an animal. We'd have to make some sort of rule for his annoying bark. And then if they need to have Jade slip in.
Yeah, I got to try to dig up a fig for, and she would be the fifth character for that group is Jade. But like Bandit, generally if we have dog characters in here that tend to be on the more ferocious side, we give them teeth, ferocious,
fangs and claws,
and determined. Yeah, fangs and claws. Bandit's not that kind of dog.
Yeah.
He's more or less scared and run off.
Well, here instead you can make him like a pet for Johnny, which a pet gets in the way.
Right.
And it's actually a nuisance for whoever.
Pretty much Bandit.
Yeah, and then
and a pet though, the pet trait is for the leader, but like what we were talking about with Space Ghost, it makes sense to give that trait to Johnny. Johnny's just a kid. You could have him, he's got maybe less wounds or something like that. You can counterbalance it if he has the pet or something.
Yeah. Chris said Venture Brothers, and I'm like, Dr.
Venture,
he's nothing but negative traits. And then I would just give the kids like the ability that they always come back no matter what happens to them.
Yeah.
This is their clothes.
All right. So here's an easy one. And I say this, it's an easy one because there's figures for him, and is Indiana Jones.
Yep. So your group could be Indy, Marion. I'm not putting his kid in.
What is it? Sala.
What'd you say, Robin?
Short round.
Oh yeah, short round.
Shorty.
Yeah. Wow, is there an annoying trait? Well, Indy, you gotta make him cunning. I think he has to have 9 lives because he gets out of stuff.
Right.
We definitely arm him with a whip and a pistol. And
I would give him veteran.
Yeah, he's definitely a veteran because you want to make him a D12 because he needs to live. He seems to be able to take a punch. He seems to be able to get like beat up and survive. So, you could. I don't know if we give him lightning fast or not. The thing about him is the fact that he is a, he's not necessarily skilled as much, but he's more of a survivor. So you can give him something like invulnerable, where he gets to re-roll recovery tests or stuff like that.
Right.
And Marion, again, you'd have to give her something to where she's more of a nuisance than anything else. Definitely like a defensive fighter or a ranged fighter, that kind of thing. Sala.
And give Marion the negative trait of drunkard to get an
Definitely.
extra trait.
That is definitely on the list there. Lucky, that sort of thing. Sala, make him like a medic or something for the team. Or
Yeah.
a mule he can just carry a bunch of crap.
He just carries the bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Short round, he's gotta be small. Definitely make him like slippery. There, like Andy could be a survivor, so when you're checking for survival after a game, he gets to add to his role. That kind of thing.
What did I have? I have a little kid card somewhere. I'm looking at my pulp stuff right now.
Yeah.
And it's generally like, I don't know. And it's one of those things that's like Sala. You could make him if Indy tends to be more. If you make Indy tend to be more like weapons oriented, even though he fights, you could make Sala as part of that group the big fisticuffs kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's not really get in there and fight, but ultimately it's a war game, so you got to give them something where they can survive.
Right. There's Marcus, the older guy from the university.
Yeah. Oh, you can put his dad in there.
And the thing is you can have dad and the cool thing with the old man, Dr. Jones, is you can pull in what I did with Haji and give him spells. So he could have basically a book of ancient tomes or something like that you can add to him. So he might not be a fisticuffs guy because being an older guy, but he could easily have a book of some sort of ancient spells or something.
Yeah. All right, we got one from the peanut gallery, Doc Savage.
Oh God! All right, well, I've got.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pull up Dutch Oven. That's basically.
So I have a character, and I have a character named Dutch Oven, who's basically Doc Savage.
Doc Savage. Well, it's Dutch Oven and the what's the crew?
Fearless 4, Fearless 5. I can't remember. So I gave Dutch Veteran. He's got Brawler. He has Master and Leader right now. And then he's armed with a pistol.
Yeah.
You could say
definitely get the 3 fantasy tomes because you'll get a lot of extra stuff out of it. Plus a bunch of new scenarios. Conan, that's easy. Conan's going to have all of the combat stuff. So I would base him off of my Krondar guy that I already made, or Korgoth of Barbaria. So he's a master of melee. He's a leader. He's a weapon master. So master of melee, leader, veteran. You're giving 2-fisted, maybe.
Yeah. But we're getting a bunch of good ones now in the comments. Yep.
I'm writing them down because I'll trade them up later. And
Alan Quartermain's pretty close to Indy. You could probably trade out a couple things with like smarts and that kind of stuff.
But he's a little bit more. He gets up there and fights a little bit more than Indy. I mean, he gets up there and like.
But they're not that far off. In League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, there's some great stuff that you can do in there. If you've got Hyde, you could use the Shapeshifter, so you can create 2 trait cards or 2 character cards with.
Yeah, make one all smarty smart. I don't fight, but I'm good at solving stuff and stuff like that, and then just make
The other
you
one, a
know
brute.
make the other one just a killing machine.
Give him a brute.
Yep.
You've got Nemo, which I've got a Nemo character I've almost done painting that I'm going to use for one of our Terror Island campaigns coming up soon.
Yes,
Hopefully with
Terror
Johnny
Island, hopefully out this year.
Yeah, with Johnny Quest. You could make Captain Nemo a swordsman, and give him a lot of your hand-to-hand combat stuff. I'm trying to think of everybody that's in. Is the Invisible Man? No, the Invisible Man's not in.
Yeah, Invisible Man's in there, and
what's her name? The vampire.
Dorian Gray, and then Nina Harker.
Yeah, but Nina is
Mina Harker in the book is different from the Mina Harker in the.
But isn't she a vampire?
No, she just got bit. In the book, she's just in the comic book. She's not a vampire.
Yeah, I've got
in the movie. She's a vampire, so you could give her straight stuff out of Tales of Horror. But in the book, she just got bit, and she's more of a smarty pants kind of a thing. She's like your
right.
You're like
Not Jason. Everybody says the Phantom, which I would give him fearsome.
No, we're not doing Tom Sawyer. We're sticking to the comic book version. J, not J. The Phantom. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Or, well, he would definitely have. He has in the comics and stuff. He's got his animals that he uses.
But I would give him fearsome presence because everybody's scared shitless of him.
Well, definitely if you're gonna do like the Shadow,
right?
You would have that kind of thing. And I've got all those guys. I've got those dudes that I made up for Pulp. That I've got the gray ghost in the League of Murdered Men,
right?
And he's got fearsome presence. He's got he can summon fog and stuff like that, which you could pull directly out of the fantasy books. And Wasteland Warriors has stuff like density control, so you can like go out and stuff like that. All right, Steve, I have one for you.
All right.
Pick your favorite wrestler.
Oh, God.
Ric Flair, Macho Man, Andre the Giant.
Let me think. Well, I'm going to say he's not my favorite, but I think he would be the most fun. Is the Ultimate Warrior because he's from parts unknown. As he boards the rocket ship. Well, any of those guys, it depends on how goofy you want to take it. If you want to have them, because it's like I see like they do like a Masters of the Universe WWE crossover, but it's like again, fearsome presence, brawler, master. I wouldn't give Ultimate Warrior veteran, even though because he was only a wrestler for a short time.
But just think, you could do a whole, almost like the Mr. T show or Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos, where you where you do a whole thing where they're wrestlers, but they're also secret agents that go fight missions and stuff.
What's the one on?
Because like I did with Pulp, I had Pecos Pete and the Giddy Up Gang, who were like serial characters from
so good.
The 30s and stuff, but they're actually secret agents, and they would use their cover like they're going to go on a photo shoot, or they're going to go on a movie shoot in like Africa, but they're actually spying on the Nazis and stuff.
What was the one on Adult Swim? It was the Mike Tyson Mysteries that they made like that.
Yeah. So why not
give them an animal cohort? But like for any of those wrestlers, it's like brawler, master, ferocious, determined.
Well, you could pull in some of the crazy stuff from like Wasteland Warriors, where you've got
Right.
extended reach stuff, or you've got
Right.
their ability to like grapple them and knock them out. You
Right.
know, even mesmerize kind of a thing.
Here's one for you that I was thinking about earlier, and I know you've got your Battlesuit Alpha coming out, but I thought it'd be cool. I don't have any miniatures of this, but I'd love to and do Optimus Prime, do some Transformers type stuff. I
Yeah,
think it'd be good.
Yeah, at Battlesuit Alpha, there is a system that's called, and instead of traits, you have systems for your mechs. And one of the traits is transformation, and you basically make two. Yeah, you make two cards for them. One for their like vehicle mode, and then you make one for their robot mode. And you could do the you could transform easily and do all that stuff. And most of the systems equate to like traits and stuff. So like I've told people before, everything's already in like Galactic Heroes. So it's just all so one of the things is like all the traits are more of an outcome versus thinking of them uh specifically. So Deadeye could be you have a third eye, you have a scope, you have a big cybernetic eye. It could
Right.
just be that you're like a better shot, or it could be the amount of the volume of fire that you put out. So I was thinking the other day, like for World War II, okay, Americans have semi-automatic rifle that puts out more fire, right? They sit there and pow, 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 pow. Whereas the Germans have a bolt action rifle that they have to one shot, click, click, one shot, click, click. So you give your average American soldier Deadeye. They're not necessarily better shots than the Germans, but to reflect that +1 on the shooting, it's reflecting the amount of fire that they're putting out, right? It's giving them a better chance because they're. And then you give the Germans something like Killer to reflect the fact that they're taking an aimed shot because they can't put out that amount of fire. You're having to go take more aim, pow, chink, chink, kind of a thing like that. So that's a perfect example of how the traits aren't. You need to look at the outcome of what the trait is versus what the kind of description
Right.
is. Kind of
You
go
know,
out.
Warma mentioned, well, first, not Jay says great Kabuki. Kabuki would be great because he's got the mist that sprays out. But Warma mentions Cable from the MCU, and the thing is this book is X-Men.
Yep.
You can do any X-Men right here, and it makes me think of the Suicide Squad too. Suicide Squad would be a great. I've got some Suicide Squad figures upstairs. Everything just depends on your scenario that you have, and I mean, any of this stuff is just it's a blast to make. I just wish I had time to paint everything.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had time to just get it all out there because we've got everything kind of in the works or in the books, and it's just getting it out there. And I know, so you've got about half the players that are good about thinking outside the box and using their imagination on how to trade stuff up, which is why we're kind of doing the show. And then there's the other people that are kind of like, don't, or either take it literally or just, they want to be told how to do it. And I get it. You don't got a lot of time. Right. Just give me the stuff and I want to
that's fine.
just play right out of books. But like we've done a couple of G.I. Joe games and that was fun just coming up with, the different traits we gave, Snake Eyes, all the close combat stuff. And then we gave
stealthy, I would assume.
Yeah. That kind of gave him all the ninja stuff. And which also brings us back again to the scenarios because there's so many good scenarios that are easily adaptable to different genres that you want to do. So Steve, have you got another one for me?
I've got a ton of them. And these don't necessarily have um, miniatures for them. Some do. And there's a company that makes these two miniatures, and I thought these would be fun to stat up, and that's Lion-O and Moon-Ra from Thundercat.
Oh yeah,
because Moon-Ra would definitely be two different cards. He's a shapeshifter.
yeah. So yeah, you'd make one that was like cunning and smart and stuff like that. And he's frail. You give him some nice negative ones, like he's brittle and stuff like that. But then you could definitely pull out all the spells from the fantasy books, give him that kind of stuff, and then just make one. Then make his other one like crazy close combat stuff. And then for Lion-O, definitely have to give him all the fighting stuff, and probably I know there's, I don't have it with me. Thank you, Marshall.
So
my bartender just showed up.
Here's a fun thing,
And then with him, you could give him. There's a couple of swords in the fantasy books. You could give him magic sword kind of a stuff.
Right. So here's a thing that you can do, and it was proven correct at March to Victory. So Jay ran it. Stop. My puppy does a curly shuffle on the ground. Jay ran a Masters of the Universe game of my stuff, and we came up with the thing was like, if you start out as Prince Adam, if you're He-Man, and if you start as Prince Adam, if you turn into He-Man, that's a different card, but it takes an action. I can't remember if it took an action or a whole turn, but you had to do it in hiding, and only certain characters could see you transform per the old cartoon. And we made a rule that whoever was He-Man and was going to change had to stand up and yell out, "By the power of Grayskull." And I don't know the fella that did it, but we were playing the Star Wars game. We just started laughing because we heard him from the tabletop. But you could do the same thing with Thundercats as whoever's Lion-O. It takes a turn to get that.
Thundercats. Oh. Well, we also had the rule that he couldn't be in anybody's line of sight.
Yes.
When he transformed.
Right. And you could do that too. You could use that rule, and it's a fun little thing, and everybody laughs, and it's a nice little cherry on top for your con game or your basement game or your living room game. You could also take that into account with, let's say you're playing a superheroes game and you've got Superman statted up. Well, you play him as Clark, and that same rule applies. Something happens, you want to change him into Superman, it takes a turn.
There has to be a phone booth somewhere on the
table. Or he has to be in hiding or something. So it's like, or he can't start till turn. And if depending on how the game is balanced out, not by points, but how the game's balanced, you can say, oh, he can't turn into Superman until turn 3 or turn 2 or what have you. Or he'd end up wiping everybody out. I'm trying to think of other miniatures that are out there based on television. Star Trek. There's Kirk and Spock.
Which are in the
They're in the Codex.
They're in the Codex already.
You've got Conan, who is all hand to hand. You could also kind of.
You got to put but then you got him hooked up with the Archer.
Yeah, and a fun character, if you do military, you want to add some craziness to it, is to do a Rambo.
Yeah, but he's more by himself.
Right. Well, again, the scenario could be he could have what's the general that helps him out could have a crew doing this on the side, and he's got this in a squad unit.
Well, you could do if you're going to do military, do the original Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos.
Yes, or Wonder Woman and her crew.
Huh?
What's the Wonder Woman's World War II crew? Or
Yeah.
World War
World
One.
War
We changed it to World War One.
Yeah. But yeah, you do the Howling Commandos and stuff. They've all got specialities and things like that, and then equipping them appropriately.
Did they do? Now I'm getting comic book nerdy here. Didn't they do a Howling Commandos where it was like a what if or something that they were like monsters or something? Because I want to say they did something that there was a Howling Commandos one off or something with like Man Thing. It was like a weird monster crew in there, but I
Oh,
can't remember.
I don't have that.
I might have that. It might be down in the basement.
Of course, you have it.
I got it somewhere, or I got a digital version of it. I can't remember. Who else? I wrote down, but we don't. I haven't seen a lot of people mess with cars with Fistful of Lead, but Mad Max.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got the vehicle rules, which
Lord
somebody didn't know
Humongous.
we had. Someone
Mad
had put
Max.
in the survey that we needed vehicle rules, and I said,
And those characters are out there.
yeah.
You've mentioned GI Joe. We specifically haven't mentioned Star Wars because we've got all that stuff already, and some of you guys have gotten that stuff already from Jay. The cards. Who else? Does anybody have anything?
Well, I had like Kelly's Heroes and stuff. That would be fun to do.
Yeah.
You could use the vehicle rules for Oddball's tank and add all those guys in there.
And Telly Savalas.
Yeah.
I have those miniatures somewhere. I've got a couple of. I think I've got Oddball painted and Telly Savalas painted. So far, Sergeant Rock would be a great one.
Yep.
Firefly.
Not Jay said Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly would be great too.
Yeah, you can make you got a Mal, and I would definitely give him like well, he's got leader. You give him a dead sharp tongue, dead eye. You can make him a veteran. Just be,
Well, he is in the show, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I usually like to say veteran for like really total badasses, but I feel like you got to have that kind of stuff, and he would definitely get like lucky stuff like that, and then Jane, what's second in command? Rosie Torres, not Rosie Torres. What's her real name?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So she's married to Walt. Was married to Wash.
Yeah.
Because that team lends perfectly to Fistful of Lead because you've got like that.
Sorry, Zoe and Wash and Inara. Yeah, that's one where I would give them the extra people. You could almost break it into two groups.
Right, because
you'd have Mal, Zoe, Wash, Inara, Jane, Kaylee, Simon, and River. And River, you could almost give her the two double stats because she could have her not zoned out version and then her badass version, once she sort of flips the switch.
Yeah, you could have, that'd be a lot of fun to game because you got the Reavers.
Yeah, because you could do the Reavers. You could just do the Evil Empire.
That'd be a lot of bellies. Fun. Anybody knows if anybody makes Firefly miniatures? Let me know.
Yes, somebody does, and I can't remember. I know you can get them as STLs. Yeah, that one would be a lot of fun because you could almost do a right out of the movie and do like, or similar to the movie, and you can have them like an attack on, or they're robbing some bank.
Yeah,
Have them versus the
trying to get
the
supplies,
locals, and then have the Reavers show up, that kind of stuff.
and
And
you've
then
got a ton of just like generic.
yeah, and then you just got the crime lords and all their stuff.
Right.
But that for some reason remind me of how you could do all Necromunda and do all the Necromunda gangs easily. And I would definitely use Wasteland Warriors for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd get some mutants and stuff in there. But yeah, you could do Necromunda like we used to do, and
oh, I got one for you, Beastmaster.
oh yes, Dar. Because you could do him, you could do Tanya Roberts, you could do the Tiger. I would put the Weasels as like a little grunt group or something.
You got John Amos
and the Eagle, and then John Amos
and that little boy.
And then let's do like a Berserker group and the bad guys, the Jun Horde, and then the big flappy I envelop you and turn you into goo, that kind of stuff.
Oh God,
yeah, that'd be perfect.
I love that movie. It's so terrible.
Yeah, I tried getting Marshall to watch it. He was like, what the hell? I'm like, welcome to 80s fantasy. Well, if we're going to talk about that, Steve, we got Hawk the Slayer.
Hawk the Slayer.
Greatest soundtrack of all time.
Krull. God, there's so much good shit.
Oh, Krull's got that whole crew because you got Liam Neeson and all those guys.
Yeah. And you got the Cyclops that hides all the time. Wormut says Dick Tracy. I wish somebody made miniatures of Dick Tracy's.
Yeah, character. That's the hard part. I mean, it's perfect. I'd love to do that. Any of the gangster stuff.
I would love to have Dick Tracy miniatures and paint them exactly like the movie, where it was the primary super bright colors.
Chris pointed out that they did a Firefly board game, and you can get the miniatures from that.
How good were they, though?
I wish somebody did the miniatures for that, but then you only got, you've got Buck, you've got what's her name? Aaron Gray's character.
I don't know what her name is from that.
Not Wilma.
Is it?
And then of course Hawk.
Tweaky. Oh no, I was thinking about that Robot Bear, but that's from the old Battlestar Galactica TV.
Yeah, we already talked about that, and that poor chimp that was stuck inside that suit.
What? That's
whenever I think about it, Wilma Deering, that was her name.
Yes.
Tweaky. And then you got Dr. Elias Hewer. Dr. Theopolis. Oh, yeah.
I barely remember that. Remember that.
The guy with the feathers that looks like an old lady hair. Hawk. He wore like black, and then he had like feathers for hair. They totally did it in Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. If you
watch Rick and Morty, they made a character that's basically like him. That's hilarious.
I remember that. You know, the thing is like we could sit here and go on and on and on and if about all the goofy like
it was
niche shit that we love. But if you guys have, if you guys have figures that you don't know what to do with, and it's like, oh, I have this and I want it to be that, what would you do? Let us know too, because that, it's like we can. I could make stats for Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
That would be awesome.
Slippery, immediately Slippery and an Entangle come to mind.
What would you do for Rip Taylor though? He would.
Well, he's got that confetti, so he throws that up, and it'd be like the
distraction.
Smoke. Yeah, it'd be the smoke like stink or something that you can't see because it's just like glitter in your eyes.
Yep.
So we can make anybody fight. We can make anything happen.
Yeah, you do Sigmund and the Sea Monsters crew versus HR Puff and Stuff's crew
Yeah.
in a battle, or versus the McDonald's crew.
Yeah. Oh God, it's like I would actually love to paint. I would love to paint miniatures of the McDonald's characters.
Give Grimace envelop. He just. Did you know that Grimace is supposed to be a taste bud? It's
Is he?
true. Look it up. He's supposed to be a taste bud.
Oh, Minnie Warmut says Ghostbusters. That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
can do
equipment.
Tales of Horror. Huh?
That's all equipment.
Yeah, that's well. I mean, they've obviously got skills, but yeah, the equipment would be the thing. You'd have to have some an attack that you'd have to make like a hard task to catch the ghost.
I would definitely give Bill Murray's character sharp tongue.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, and give the other ones the Brainiac stuff.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. It's time.
It's time. Steve, what's in the mailbag? What came today?
Oh, that was the mailbag siren. I haven't heard that in a while, but
No.
fresh out of the mailbag. Actual mail to the Baron. All right, here we go. Dear Wiley Games, I recently posted a question on your social media. By recently, I mean 10 minutes ago. Why haven't you answered my question yet? Why? Sincerely, impatient in Emporia.
Well, as me and Steve pointed out, we're getting crushed at work, and we've pointed out several times that
Brutalized.
this isn't my only gig. So we have full-time jobs plus writing rules, videotaping, editing, all that kind of stuff. And so even though I monitor most of our social media and the Baroness monitors most of the emails that are sent in through the website, if we don't get to you right away, you need to be a little bit more understanding about our time. So this isn't our only gig. We are still just two people plus the people like Steve who help me out with play testing and artwork and stuff like that. So no, it wasn't warm up this time.
No, I said what, and I said whatnot.
And whatnot. Yeah. So that's my answer. Charles says Spawn.
Oh.
I don't remember what Spawn does. It's been a while.
I can't remember either. I think I was on I'm mad at Todd McFarlane era.
Yeah, I was done with him by then.
That was when he was saying he could he was publicly saying he could wipe his ass on a piece of paper and people would buy it for $1 million type of thing. And it was like, okay, I'm done.
Well, you remember that documentary that he was in? And because he's like a huge collector of he was one of the guys that got like the whole hockey player collectible figures and stuff. And he sat there and complained that a lot of the a lot of the action figure companies were doing stuff like, here's the exact same mold, except we made them glow in the dark. Like, here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but we just put them in a glow in the dark mold. And then they cut to him talking about, here's my new Spawn character that glows in the dark. The guy was such a dick. And then, he was also doing stuff like Rob Liefeld, where he was taking old panels from other artists and then basically just reusing them and drawing his stuff over the top of them. Because remember, like Todd McFarlane couldn't draw elbows or knees or feet, so he would just have them going off the panel
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But he
Which is
can't
what I
draw
loved
elbows.
about Deadpool 2, where he just killed off all those characters that he made. like
So
straight
good.
up.
So good.
Yeah, not Jada says just make him dark and capey.
Dark and capey. Mini Warmut says blast templates? Question mark.
I guess for Spawn. I don't remember what Spawn's powers were, so I don't
either. I don't remember. I know he had chains.
remember he like went to hell and then they like made a deal and he came back, but that was the only one I
don't. He was all ate up. His skin was all ate up, like Deadpool's or something. But I don't know.
I think it was because Todd McFarlane couldn't draw faces, so he always had characters who just had the full mask. Because Deadpool was all ate up and just had almost the exact same mask.
Well, and Spider-Man wasn't ate up, but always had a mask on. Anything else?
I don't know. I think the summary from this is, like we said, it's when you find a miniature, you find something you want to do for a game, you need to, when you're looking at, I think there's 70 traits or something. I don't know how many there are. You need to look at sort of the outcome of what the trait is versus what specifically, what the description is. So, if you have encouraging, where you can remove all the shock markers from a member of your crew, well, they could also just be the guy's really scary and yells at his, his crew, and he's like, they're more scared of him than they are of the enemy. That's an easy one. Energy blast. Okay, well, that can be all kinds of different things. Killer, you get to add +1 to your wounds when shooting. That doesn't necessarily have to be, that the guy is, just evil or something like that. It just has to do with.
I was going to say, you can rename some things. If you're playing your game and you have a crew, or if you're even playing solo or whatever, as long as you can rename stuff to fit that character, as long as everybody that's playing with you knows what that's supposed to be. It's like for the Mandalorian character, I gave him Pet, but on his card it doesn't say Pet, it says Grogu, and I just explained that that's Pet. It's just I did it for myself because it makes sense. And don't be afraid to fidget with stuff either. It's like if it's like, oh well, if I could just get one more trait for this character, figure it out. There's ways to figure it out to make that character exactly the way that they're on television or in books or in comics or in films. It's exactly, you can make it exactly that.
Okay, I have one final one that was sent in from the boy.
All right.
The boy who's 21, and this is awesome. Jack Burton and
I almost wrote that down.
Jack Burton and the Storms from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like Jack's got to have the sharp tongue, right?
Yeah, we've been pumping the new trait of sharp tongue all night.
I know, but it seems good. If you give him lightning fast because it's all in the reflexes, I would almost give him. I would say on his card, it's all in the reflexes, and then put lightning fast in quotes.
Yes.
The guy's got to be like fearless.
Well, he's lucky.
Well, yeah, he's lucky.
And I would say, off the top of my head with the movie, like him throwing something It's like the Asian guy that he's with, the younger guy that's always kind of upstaging him. I would actually give Jack Burton lousy shot.
Yeah, you could give him like something bad or a heavy trigger or something like that to where he goes out of ammo quicker.
Because he's kind of, he's the hero of the movie, but he's kind of a jackass,
Yeah. Yeah.
God, he'd be great. And
He'd be great to do. And then the storms, you give him a bunch of hand-to-hand traits, but then you also finish it off with some of the like spells from. Well, you could give them the one like the power blast or the for being able to shoot lightning, damaging aura from being able to fill up with air and then blow it all out, that kind of stuff.
I've got my Jack Burton figure too.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody does the storms though.
No, but you might be able to snake some from just a general like.
Well, they have that line that's like Fistful of Kung Fu that you could get for like the different tongs and stuff.
And the thing is like if you make all the bad guys powerful, what's the main bad guy in that? I'm drawing a blank.
Whoa. I would have known it. Lopan.
So I would give Lopan Leech.
Yep.
And the thing is you can have you've got all these super powerful guys. The three storms. There's that kind of werewolf beast monster thing. Mm-hmm. There's that thing that kind of looks like a beholder in there.
Yeah, the eyeball.
So you could add all that stuff in, and ways that you could counter some of that and weaken some of those is you have a scenario where there's some sort of tome or crystal or something that if they get it, you could have a character for Egg Shen that could have a little bit of magic. But in the scenario, if they get this and they use it correctly, it maybe makes the three storm guys a little bit weaker or something, or causes a little bit of an Achilles heel or on the characters or something. But that'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, that'd be a great one to do. Especially you get the Pork Chop Express in there, and if you had the
Pork Chop Express,
you get the Chinatown stuff in there, it'd be pretty badass. So.
Another one that to same actor, but you could do perfect game, and we've done damn near close to that with Wasteland Warriors. Is Snake Plissken in Escape from New York?
That'd be cool. But you'd have to give him. You have to give him Adrian Barbeau's character and Caddy and Brain. There's 4. So you got a good crew, and then God, you've got all the different gang members that they could fight.
You got all the scums
and the Duke.
Yeah, you got all the scums in the sewer. I mean, that is a perfect scenario.
Not just that. Warriors,
man, I'd love to have miniatures for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Great game. That'd be a great campaign game, actually. Get place to place.
Many Mormonts, the Running Man. But the problem with that is you've got Arnold and Maria Conchita Alonso. Really is like one team. You just have to make him like super badass, make him like godlike, so that he doesn't get knocked out.
One I've got figures for them, and one I did not write down was a thing that could be a lot of fun is Predator.
Yeah, I mean, we did something similar when I was at Blam, where they did a whole they did the Fistful of Cocaine, where they had the whole you had the different factions. You had the drug dealers, you had the CIA, you had another drug dealer faction and some other stuff, but then in the jungle. But then on top of that, you had the Predator, that was almost treated like a spoiler that popped in and out and like attacked them and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely doing the Arnold and his crew.
Yeah,
would
and
be
I've seen on
and for that,
on
I would almost do a game. I would do a scenario where they're trying to get to the chopper,
get
but
to
you would
the
have one player that would be controlling Arnold's crew, and then I would have another faction that was like the locals, the freedom fighters or something like that. And then I would almost treat the Predator almost separate, like he was not even a character so much as he could just drop in and screw with everybody else, kind of a
right,
thing.
right.
Unless you did a thing where there were multiple Predators, kind of a deal. More of a the Predators movie where they had multiple ones of them fighting the people who got sucked onto the planet. So,
Oh yeah, I think I saw that one. I think I saw
one
that
with
one.
Adrian Brody and all that.
I did see online somebody sells STLs of all the characters from Predator, like Billy and I can't think of Jesse Ventura's character Blaine and all
Yeah.
those guys. They look great.
Well, I mean, yeah, and there's a company that just does a crap ton of aliens and a crap ton of predators. And that's weird about that is they've got these ones that are almost like pinups, and it's kind of weird and creepy. It's like, why does that alien have boobs? So, all right, well, we've made it through another show, Steve.
Again,
so, thanks for everybody that phoned in your ideas, and make sure you like and subscribe and tell your friends to do so also. And me and Steve will probably be back here in a couple weeks. Chris on his show is going to be doing a similar show to this tomorrow, and we'll add in some more of that. But I will be taking the characters that popped up here, and I'll go ahead and from our notes stat everything up, and we'll put it probably at least on the Facebook group and in the files, so that if people want to grab them from there, and then we'll probably also make it a file available from our website. So that's wiley-games.com. So until next time.
ta-ta.